Good afternoon. Maayong hapon. My name is RM Areglado and I will be presenting my study on the usability and adoption of SARAI Enhanced Agricultural Monitoring System among agricultural technicians and researchers. And here are my co-authors. Please be guided by the outline of my presentation. The Philippines is prone to tropical cyclones due to its geographical location. On annual basis, there is usually an average of 18 to 20 cyclones enter the Philippine area of responsibility or PAR in the past 10 years. Though only 42% of the tropical cyclones made a landfall, still this significantly affect the agricultural sector. The peak season is July through October, when nearly 70% of the region's typhoons develop. Aside from tropical cyclones, dry spells, El Nino, La Nina, as well as the infestation of pests and diseases can significantly affect the crop production. Based on the Philippines Statistics Authority or PSA, the rice production declined on year 2009 because of Typhoon Ondoy and Pipin. It was followed by a 9-month dry spell on year 2010. The Philippines recently suffered through a blow from 4 consecutive typhoons for the past 1 month. According to the Department of Agriculture, as reported by pna.gov.ph, our country loses total of 7.66 billion pesos in agriculture alone. Agricultural offices are tasked to monitor crops, including its growth and damages. It is an important task to keep track the agricultural supply in the country. It is also being used to provide the farmers assistance in case of crop failures. The usual process is to physically assess the crops by the technicians or through the reports from the farmers. However, it is labor intensive and prone to under or overestimation. With this, the SARAI Enhanced Agricultural Monitoring System or SIMS was developed. It aims to assess and monitor crop growth, crop health, crop loss, and extent of crop damage with the use of remote sensing, normalized difference vegetation index, and geographic information system. And of course, I would like to applaud the team behind this technology headed by Professor Moises A. Dorado of the College of Engineering and Agro-Industrial Technology, UPLB. Some of its functions are delineating crop production area, determination of crop growth stages, and determination of damage areas. Just to inform our general public, as mentioned, SIMS is using remote sensing. Remote sensing is defined as obtaining information about objects or areas from a distance. In the case of SIMS, the data are coming from the satellite in the space. SIMS utilizing the free and open source remotely sensed data such as MODIS, Landsat, Sentinel-1 and 2. It also uses NDVI or a directory of plant greenness or photosynthetic activity. The greenness can indicate the crop status and crop health, development stages, and other parameters such as possible pest infestation. Lastly, it uses GIS, a software designed to store, retrieve, manage, display, and analyze all types of geographic and spatial data. It enables the user to visualize the geographic aspects of a body of data. Using remote sensing, NDVI, and GIS, and the validation from the ground, SIMS aims to provide near real-time and site-specific crop advisories. With this, several agricultural technicians and researchers who are partners of the project were trained to use SIMS. This paper highlights the results of the 5-day hands-on trainings, as well as the evaluations conducted to assess the trainees' perception on the usability of the system, to assess the acceptability and adaptability of SIMS, and to identify the problems encountered using SIMS. To conduct the said evaluation, the team developed a scheme that uses a pre-test and post-test survey questionnaire answered by the participants. Our participants are composed of agricultural extension workers, agricultural technicians, other government employees, faculty, and researchers from different state universities and colleges. This evaluation follows the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology or UTOUT model to analyze the target's users' intentions to use the system and their subsequent usage behavior and acceptability. This slide shows the level of competencies of the participants on the use of SIMS from day 1 to day 5. Here are the level of competencies. You start with being a novice, meaning you are a beginner, unable to operate without help. Then, the next level is intermediate, meaning you can operate with minimal help, followed by proficient or can operate without any help. And lastly, an expert, meaning you are competent enough in operating QGIS for SIMS. Results of the evaluation show that the participants' level of knowledge or skills in using SIMS increase from being a novice from day 1 to being an intermediate in day 5. Now, here is a two-graph of the level of competencies of the trainees from phase 1 of the training and from phase 2. Each phases of training is composed of 5 days hands-on training. So at the end of the first phase of the training, most of the trainees are intermediate. Same trainees attended the phase 2 and by the end of the phase 2, most of them are already proficient. All of the participants are reported that SIMS is relevant to their current job responsibilities as agricultural technicians, faculty, and researchers. But even though they find it relevant, some of them cannot practice the use of the system due to their full workload. When asked if SIMS would be helpful in accomplishing reports and monitoring, most of them strongly agreed, and this statement will be backed up by the results of outputs produced by our partners, which they already use in submitting reports to the Provincial Agricultural Office. They also believe that they have enough resources necessary to use SIMS in agricultural monitoring. All of them also stated that SIMS is ready for deployment provided that there are computers available, assigned personnel to do the job, and the users had already undergo complete training. We also conducted a monitoring survey and asked if they were able to use SIMS, and majority of them said yes. They were able to use SIMS at work for geotagging and digitizing, teaching and research, mapping and monitoring of production area of the municipality, flood analysis, mapping of land bank touch points or map of farmers borrowers, land use classification, and creating heat map for dengue cases in the province. Results of the study also show that the major challenges in fully adopting SIMS are the following: unstable internet connectivity, lack of support from LGU, and unavailability of hardware to run the software. And here are some of the testimonies from our trainees.
Ang Project SARAI ay isang important tool na makatulong sa amin sa LGU, especially sa akin as an agriculture extension workers. Ang SIMS na very beneficial sa data gathering through GIS, malalaman ang existing situation sa rice area ng municipality at yon makatulong sa planning ng agriculture activities namin.
Magagamit ko yung software sa aking trabaho, even sa mga farmers na madali kong ma-identify yung mga pananim nila, kung malulusog ba yung mga tanim or kailangang i-improve yung mga soil. So may mga data akong magagamit para ma-present ko even sa mga meetings.
Here are some examples of the outputs of our trainees. These maps were produced by the trainees from Dumangas, Iloilo. From all the participants, Dumangas have attended the most number of series or phases of training of SIMS. Even this time of pandemic, the SIMS team have been constantly meeting with Dumangas online to guide them and teach them the techniques to further increase their skills on using SIMS. Another example is Sir Ruel Castro of the Philippine Statistics Authority. He has been very active in using what he has learned from the 2 phases of SIMS training that he attended. So here are some of his outputs that he posted in his social media account. In conclusion, they find SIMS relevant to their job, but because of the current workload, They cannot regularly use the system. They believe that SIMS is a useful tool in agricultural monitoring, but using the system is not included in their official tasks or protocol. That is why we need to promote the use of the system to the higher ups such as the DA, and Sarai had been already doing that. One recommendation is also having one personnel from the office to be specifically assigned in agricultural monitoring using SIMS. The major problems in using the system or fully adopting the system is the lack of high-speed internet connection to download the data and lack of compatible computer to process all the data. We need to encourage the local government, even the national government, for their investment and support to their staff. One recommendation is to institutionalize the use of the technology or the system. That is why Sarai have been promoting this to the different DOST regions and other government agencies and down to the provincial and municipal level to have an agreement for a creation of a resolution for adoption, train their staff, and have them use the system. They also believe that SIMS is ready for deployment provided that they have enough resources and they have completed the series of trainings. Conduct of a series of or phases of trainings is effective to be able the users to familiarize themselves and be experts on the use of the system. That is all. Thank you very much for listening.